Hi guys, and welcome back to my adventures down the oceans in piracy as we have now explored the island of Zou. Zou for me was another top tier arc of One Piece, and the setup we got to witness was nothing short of brilliant. In the beginning of this arc, we're introduced to a new warlord of the sea within Edward Weevil, who is the self-proclaimed son of Whitebeard. And despite seeming to be an oaf not only in appearance but in mental acuity, he is immensely powerful and is said to have massacred a lot of the former Whitebeard pirates. I don't personally believe that Edward Weevil is the son of Whitebeard. However, given he is ridiculously strong, if he were Whitebeard's son, we could see where he got it from, but clearly he did not inherit the beautiful looks of Edward Newgate, nor the intelligence. We find out Edward Weevil is after Marco, and so I'm interested to see later on in the show if he'll ever face off versus Marco, and if he does, you best believe I have my money on the First Division commander. Our remaining Straw Hats sailing to Zou, they eventually arrive, and contrary to what we thought, Zou is not a traditional island, but rather an island on the top of a giant elephant's back named Zunisha. I knew that Zou was hard to find, but I can finally see why. It's constantly moving. The idea of Zunisha did remind me of Torterra from Pokemon, in which there is an entire ecosystem on its back. To ascend this giant elephant, Kanjuro draws up a dragon within Ryunosuke to carry them up the elephant, and this was one of my favorite comedy bits. Within this cute derpy dragon from Kanjuro's horrendous drawing, it's trying its utmost to help the Straw Hats and their friends reach the top. Robin continually states, "It's so cute," and with that cute Japanese voice, it made me smile. They eventually do reach the top of the elephant, however, without Kanjuro and Kinemon, who will make their way up later down the line. We're also caught up to see what's been going on with the Revolutionary Army, and on their ship we see Jesus Burgess stowed away despite being barely alive. Jesus uses his snail transponder to call Blackbeard to follow his Vivre card and go to the hidden base on Baltigo. When seeing this, I was immediately anticipating an on-screen battle to later ensue. But Oda, through storytelling, hypes up these battles, and often we are just shown the conclusion and aftermath of them. This is a testament to his writing, because without ever showing some notable battles like Shanks stopping Kaido, Blackbeard and the Whitebeard pirates whom we find out about later in this arc, Aokiji and Kuzan, the list goes on and on. But these off-screen battles have so much mystery and hype around them that me just hearing about them despite not ever seeing it still gets me absolutely geeked. Upon arriving in the Mokomo Dukedom, we see this city clearly has been through the ringer with the gate destroyed and the city in ruin. While exploring the city, we see a mink named Carrot, and she clashes with our Straw Hats with visible electricity coming from her body when attacking. The mink was extraordinarily fast, which came by surprise, and what was even more shocking was that this mink was wearing Nami's clothing, which led me to have an at first distaste for the mink, believing they were nefarious individuals. So I kind of have this habit within One Piece of whenever there's a new group of people introduced into the story, I'm always hesitant to trust them, as I always fear for our Straw Hats eventually being betrayed or perhaps even hurt, but thankfully I was dead wrong about this initial distrust, and instead I absolutely adore the mink people. The mink have this super cute little gimmick. When they express affection, they say Guardshu, and I couldn't help smiling each time they said it. We learned through a mink named Wanda that one of the three calamities within the Beast Pirates headed by Kaido, we find out that Jack the Drought came through the city and laid waste to it. Before we're given more details on what fully occurred, Zunisha the elephant began to erupt with rain as it raised its trunk and spouted water onto the island. This was really interesting to me. I could have really easily been on board with the concept that this millennia-old elephant carrying a civilization on its back was not fully cognizant, but rather this creature is a living being still active with its own thoughts, which will play a larger role later in the arc. As they navigate the now flooded area, Wanda tells Luffy that Jack has been reported dead after trying to rescue Doflamingo, but in the process destroyed 2 naval warships. She had suspicion that he wasn't dead since there was no body, which unfortunately turns out to be true. Our Straw Hats are then reunited, and oh my god, was it good to see the Straw Hats after all this time, especially within such a long arc as Dressrosa. And need I say less regarding seeing Nami after all this time, her outfit. Yeah, let's move on. The Minks' interaction with Brook consistently made me chuckle, with them chasing after him to chew on his bones, which is entirely fitting. Poor Brook had no way out of this one. The Straw Hats and the Minks have a feast, and this is where Nami catches us up to speed since they clashed with Big Mom's ship and arrived at Zou, and Wanda informs us the full extent of the calamity Jack's treachery. Jack came with his subordinates called the Pleasurers and the Gifters to lay waste to the city, seeking a certain samurai, or as we learn, a ninja within Raizo, whom Kinemon and Kanjuro were looking for. Despite the Minks telling Jack they did not have him there, Jack didn't care as he continually ransacked the city, asking again and again the location of the samurai and ninja. We learn that there are two rulers of Zou, Master Cat Viper and Duke Dogstorm, who operate one at night and one during day, having two kings due to their disdain for each other. Due to there being two kings, there's thereby two separate groups of Mink who all operate on different times, resulting in multiple military forces. This allows Jack to be combated day and night, with the Mink being able to retreat and recover while another group takes over. They fight 5 days and 5 nights at a stalemate until Jack, getting sick of it, uses one of Caesar's gas weapons, which makes the Mink helpless as Jack and his crew slaughter countless individuals and even crucify Duke Dogstorm and Master Cat Viper, with Cat Viper losing an arm and Duke losing a leg, all while still being questioned about the whereabouts of Raizo. Despite this flashback being only a few episodes, I had immense emotions seeing these people tortured and seeing the kings fight back, willing to give their lives for their people. The nature of the beast pirates is alluring. They all seem to be Zoan fruit users, and they seem to be barbaric or Viking-like, unlike the typical pirates we've seen thus far. Jack's mammoth ancient Zoan fruit is super cool too, but I wonder if his human form or pure Zoan form is stronger. As a further testament to Oda's writing, I am actively trying to censor myself from looking onto the wiki to answer these questions that get posed, as I know Oda will one day answer them for me. Upon the news of Doflamingo, Jack left the Mink location in destruction, and around that same time Sanji and the others arrived. Due to them being in possession of Caesar, they are able to clear out the remainder of the gas, given that Caesar made it, and Chopper was able to manufacture and distribute a cure to save all the people, thus resulting in the Straw Hats being the savior of the Minks and why they had such a warm welcome. As a little tidbit, it stated that both kings know Shanks, and although not much detail was given, as you know, I am a huge Shanks fan and the lore behind him just keeps growing. But before I go into a fanboy rant on why Shanks is the strongest character in One Piece, let's continue. After story time goes on, the question of where Sanji is comes up again. Brook goes so far as to tell the crew that he may never come back, and it's learned that the Big Mom pirates they clashed with were able to track them down to Zou, and one of the members of that ship's within Peckham's being a native to Zou itself. Upon the arrival of Capone Beige and Peckham's, the crew didn't want to subject the Minks to any more trouble, and Sanji goes to meet both of them. Peckham's thanks Sanji dearly for saving his people, and despite their mission being to capture Sanji, Peckham's agrees to let Sanji and the crew go. This results in Capone Beige shooting Peckham's for defying orders, and then uses his castle fruit to unleash his crewmates from within his body. Now suddenly Sanji is surrounded by the fire tank pirates. Nami and Chopper arrive despite Sanji telling them to stay back, and they all have to enter the castle of Capone Beige to discuss some things. This fruit is really original, and I don't know how Oda was able to come up with such a niche devil fruit. I wouldn't have ever thought a devil fruit consisting of making a man a castle man would ever exist, but here we are. Capone gives Sanji an invitation to a tea party from Big Mom, and it says that the third son of the Vinsmoke family would marry into Charlotte Linlin's family. To our surprise, the third son is Sanji. Sanji, these past 700 plus episodes, has kept in secret he's a part of a family of warmongerers within the Vinsmoke family. Clearly he has no attachment to them and rather disdain for them, but this came as a shocker he has such a crazy heritage. This type of marriage would result in an odd alliance and subjugation of the Straw Hats to the Big Mom pirates, and in a moment that brought me to tears, Sanji tells Capone that Luffy isn't the type of person to work under someone. He's going to be the king of pirates. Moments like this is what I live for in the show. However, unfortunately, this isn't something Sanji can easily get out of. Big Mom is an emperor of the sea and would go after his friends, so he has to make the hard decision to go with Capone back to the tea party. Sanji hugs his crewmates tight and gives them a note saying he had to go see a woman and he'll be back soon. Quite in Sanji fashion, and during this hug he throws them outside the castle to let them escape, leaving himself and Caesar left in the castle. Sanji is one of my favorite characters of One Piece, and I really enjoy within stories linking myself to characters as it adds realism to it. I do that with every story I follow, whether manga or anime, and I like to ask my friends, oh, who within the story do you think I'm similar to? And my friends within One Piece have said that I am like the Sanji of the group, perhaps due to my leg-focused workouts for Olympic lifting, my love of women, and my love of food. And seeing Sanji leave our friends made me emotional, because despite everything he wants to do, he chose what's safest for his friends first. Upon discussion from the Straw Hats, it leads Luffy to decide that he will go bring back Sanji himself. As we know, Luffy will wage war on the entire world unquestionably for his Nakama, one of the reasons he is such a fantastic protagonist. He does not do things out of good or justice or altruism, but rather friendship, love, and the pursuit of his own ideals. Luffy and the gang are introduced to Master Cat Viper, who is my favorite of the two kings. I think this is due to his playful nature and his inability to listen to Chopper's Chopper's medical advice, along with his obsession with food, particularly lasagna. Kinemon and Kanjuro, who took forever to ascend Zunisha, arrived to the island, and this moment gave me a lot of anxiety. Mink essentially underwent a holocaust due to Jack searching for Raizo, and here come two samurai also looking for him. Upon the news of the samurai, all of the Mink go into town, coming in the thousands, and it looks like they are on the brink of war. Kinemon and Kanjuro arrive before the Minks, and while standing before them, they say they were looking for Raizo, and a sequence of events I never expected occurred. We see the Mink in the thousands kneel before them and tell them that Raizo is safe. Now, I did not emotionally anticipate for Raizo to be there, and even if he was, for the people to let themselves die and not once give up their information. Kinemon, to prove who he was, he showed his Kazuki crest tattoo. We learned that the Mink are beyond loyal people, that they'd rather die than turn over their ally within the Kazuki family of Wano. Truly beautiful, and I have visible chills right now. Cat Viper and Dogstorm argue after this, and Momo cries for them to stop and that his dad would be sad to see this. And in my head, I'm wondering, listen, Kinemon's right there. Why would his dad be sad to see this? But the two kings bow before Momo and agree to a truce, and it's revealed that Momo is the son of Kazuki Oden, the samurai of Wano who sailed alongside Whitebeard and reached the end of the world with Roger. How this timeline makes sense, I have no idea given that this happened so long ago, but I really hope it's explained. But Momo seems to be the king of Wano and thereby the ruler of the Mink as well. We are then taken to a place in which they had Raizo hidden, and we see a lot of nin action, given that Raizo is a ninja after all. He is berated with tons of ninja requests, and even one of the requests being an homage to Naruto, which takes place in asking Raizo to summon a giant toad. During these antics, Robin sees the red poneglyph behind them, and we are told that there are 4 red poneglyphs, all leading to different islands, but when mapping these locations and connecting them, in the middle will be Laugh Tale, the final island that Roger reached. There are 4 of these, one with the Kaido, one with Big Mom, one with the Mink, and the last unknown. The retainers of the Kazuki clan reveal their motivation that their master passed along to them, to open up the land of Wano that has been sealed from the world all this time. It's shown that Kaido has taken over this land and long ago killed both of Momo's parents in front of him. This leads to a beautiful interaction with the retainers asking Luffy to help them restore Wano, and Luffy, to our surprise, denies them. He instead asks Momo if he's the leader, and if so, to ask himself. And that he sure as hell does. This thereby forms the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance, and yes, the ninja part is absolutely necessary. However, before their mutual goal of taking down Kaido and restoring Wano, Luffy will go get Sanji back. A feast ensues, but Jack rears his face again and returns to Zou, now with the intent to kill Zunisha. Amidst the feast taking place, everyone sets their objectives. Cat Viper will go recruit Marco the Phoenix, who was an ally, Dogstorm the Samurai-in-Law will go to Wano, and Luffy, Brook, Chopper, and Nami, along with a few Mink, will go to Whole Cake. After the preparations are made, Zunisha is attacked, resulting in chaos on the island, and Luffy and Momo begin to hear a voice and the cries for help from it. Only those two can hear the voice, who we learn is Zunisha, and Momo in desperation compels Zunisha to attack back, and Zunisha wipes out Jack and his ships. This is another moment where we see the voice of all things in effect, and Momo seems to have it too, even with the ability to speak. Dogstorm and Cat Viper mentioned both Roger and Oden had this ability as well, and it seems that perhaps Luffy and Momo will parallel those two great men entirely. After this, the arc gradually begins to wrap up. The Sanji retrieval team prepares to head out, and during this time we see Reverie is going to take place, and we see Best Girl Vivi preparing to set out to sea once more to attend. This event seems to take place every 4 years with all of the powerful kingdoms and families coming together, and I'm interested to see what occurs with this later on. The Sanji retrieval team sets out with the addition of one hidden member of Carrot, who I expect later on could be a potential Straw Hat, as she's already mentioned she wants to set out to sea with Luffy and his crew. The arc ends with the scene I long awaited, more of Kaido, who you can see in fact behind me on this little desk. Kaido we see drunk and crying. We learn that he is a very emotional drunk, and he laments the defeat of Joker and thereby his loss of the smiles. Some of Kaido's subordinates mention the danger of underestimating Luffy and Law, similarly to how Doflamingo did, and this results in Kaido's rage, in which we see his full brute power saying that Luffy and Law were only playing games pretending to be pirates, telling a bloodied prisoner that he should tell his fellow members of his generation. The person in the cell being Eustace Kid, who I was wondering what the hell happened to him after Kaido fell from the sky. Kaido thus far has been set up to be a huge antagonist, and his crew is entirely ominous. Given the nature of the naming of the high-ranking members within Jack and Joker, I'm excited to see King and Queen as well if they exist. Zou was a brilliant setup arc and had some absolutely fantastic scenes and moments. The preparation leading up to Whole Cake is setting this upcoming arc to be super Sanji-centric, which will be great to see, especially since we haven't seen him a ton throughout these past few hundred episodes. There is so much lore within One Piece, and I know I say this every video, but One Piece truly has the best world building of of all time. If you stuck around to hear my rambling and thoughts on this arc, thank you. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more One Piece content like this. As always, be greedier, and I'll catch you all next time.